The small town of Willow Creek was quiet that afternoon. Birds chirped softly, and the sun warmed the rooftops. Children played near the edges of the park, and people went about their daily chores. Lena, a curious and brave 12-year-old girl, walked home from school, her backpack bouncing lightly against her shoulders. She loved to explore, even in the small, calm town where nothing unusual ever happened. Suddenly, a sound tore through the peaceful air. It was a deep, sharp roar, louder than any engine, louder than thunder. Lena stopped in her tracks, her heart pounding. Birds scattered into the sky, and the ground beneath her feet trembled slightly. She looked up and saw a shadow falling across the streets. Something huge was coming from the forest beyond the town. Trees bent under the force of the wind, and dust swirled around the empty fields. Lena's eyes widened. She had never seen anything like this in her life. People began to scream as a massive form crashed through the trees. Branches snapped and fell like twigs as a huge creature stumbled forward. It was a dragon, or at least, it looked like one. Its skin shimmered in strange colors that no human had ever seen, a mix of deep purple and glowing green. Its wings were folded tightly against its sides, but they were enormous, like sails made of living light. Its eyes were wide, full of fear, and there was something in its mouth that made it tilt its head awkwardly. It roared again, but this time it was not with anger. It was pain, a cry that made the hair on Lena's arms stand up. People were running in every direction. Cars honked, dogs barked, and the mayor's emergency sirens began to wail. Soldiers and scientists arrived in a convoy of trucks and vans, but they stopped at the edge of the field, unsure of what to do. The dragon did not attack. It only struggled to move, trembling with every step. Its tail thumped against the ground, leaving deep grooves in the dirt. Lena watched from behind a small hill. She could feel her knees shake, but her curiosity was stronger than her fear. Most adults were yelling at the creature to leave, or calling for it to be sedated. But Lena noticed something no one else seemed to see. The dragon's mouth was slightly open, and there was a glimmer of something stuck between its teeth, a thorn, thin and sharp, glowing faintly. Every roar it made seemed to hurt more than frighten. The soldiers raised nets and tranquilizer guns, preparing to force the dragon down. Lena's heart raced. "Wait," she whispered. "It's not attacking. It's hurt." But no one heard her over the chaos. She stepped closer, moving carefully behind a fallen log for cover. She could see its chest heaving, its body trembling. Dust clung to its scales, and some areas were cut and bleeding lightly from branches. But the most obvious sign of suffering was that thorn in its mouth. She knew, somehow, that if it could just remove that thorn, the creature would calm down. Her parents would have told her not to go near something so dangerous. But Lena had never listened carefully when danger was about someone else's pain. She crept closer, hiding behind small boulders, watching the dragon thrash as it tried to roar again. Each movement seemed to make it more exhausted. The soldiers shouted warnings, but their voices were distant to her. All she could think about was the dragon's eyes, huge, round, and filled with terror. It's okay," she whispered to herself. "I won't hurt you." The dragon's gaze flicked toward her. For a moment, the chaos seemed to pause. Its glowing eyes locked onto hers, and Lena felt a strange connection. She could see its fear, yes, but also something else, confusion, and maybe even hope. It didn't move toward her or away. It just watched. She took a deep breath and stepped out from behind the rock, raising her hands slowly. "I'm not going to hurt you," she said clearly. Her voice was small but firm. "I can help." The dragon tilted its head. Its wings twitched, and it let out a small, hesitant whine. Lena felt her heart leap. It wasn't angry. It was scared and hurt, and it seemed to understand that she meant no harm. The soldiers shouted again, warning her to stop, but Lena ignored them. She moved carefully, keeping her hands visible, and approached the giant creature. The dragon shifted its weight slightly, testing her. Lena froze, then smiled gently. "It's okay. I'm going to help you." The dragon lowered its head slightly, tilting to give her better access. Its eyes never left hers. Lena could see the thorn now, stuck deep between the dragon's sharp teeth. Its mouth was too big and dangerous for her to climb onto, but if she could just distract it with calm words, maybe she could find a way. She knelt on the grass, speaking softly. I know it hurts. I know it's scary, but I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to help. The dragon made a slow, shaky exhale. Its chest rose and fell with effort. Its glowing scales shimmered with every movement, reflecting sunlight in strange, colorful patterns. The sight was breathtaking. Lena felt a thrill of awe and fear at the same time. She had never imagined that she would see anything so magnificent in her life, let alone be this close to it. Slowly, she edged forward. She could hear the thump of its tail, the hiss of its breath, the faint crackle of its glowing skin. Every step made her pulse faster, but she kept talking, telling the dragon that she would help, that it would be okay. Finally, she was close enough to see the thorn clearly. It was small, thin, and sharp, but had dug deep into the dragon's gums. Lena realized that just a gentle pull might free it, but she had to calm the creature first. She reached up carefully and touched the edge of its snout. The dragon flinched, then froze. It was an unspoken moment of trust. Lena felt her hands tremble, but she smiled and whispered again, I'm not going to hurt you. You can let me help. The dragon lowered its head further, as if granting permission. Its roar softened into a low rumble of pain, but it did not struggle anymore. Lena felt her stomach tighten. This was the bravest moment of her life, and the scariest. She took a deep breath, steadying her hands. I can do this, she whispered. I can help you. For the first time, the massive, frightened alien dragon seemed to look at her not with terror, but with a faint glimmer of hope. And Lena knew, deep in her heart, that this small girl standing alone could be the only chance of a frightened giant to survive. The world around them, the shouting, the flashing lights, the soldiers, faded. There was only the dragon and her, only the fear and the courage, side by side. And somewhere in that quiet, urgent moment, Lena realized that sometimes, even the smallest human could face the largest danger and make a difference that no one would ever forget. Lena's heart raced as she inched closer to the giant dragon. Dust and broken branches littered the ground, but she hardly noticed. All she could see was the pain in the dragon's glowing eyes and the tiny thorn stuck in its mouth. Every breath it took made it flinch. Every movement sent shivers of fear through its massive body. The soldiers and scientists shouted from a distance, waving their arms and telling her to stop. Get back! It's dangerous, one yelled. Lena ignored them. She could see something no one else did. The dragon wasn't attacking. It was suffering. It was desperate. She ducked behind a large boulder and whispered to herself, I can help. I have to try. Cautiously, Lena crawled closer, keeping her movements slow and deliberate. The dragon's head tilted slightly, as if it sensed her approach. Its wings twitched nervously, and its tail thumped the ground with deep, heavy beats. Every time it roared, a thin line of red showed in its mouth. Lena's stomach tightened. When she got close enough, she crouched on the soft grass and carefully peered into its glowing jaws. That's when she saw it. A thin, sharp thorn lodged deep between two large teeth. The tip glimmered faintly, like a shard of alien metal. It wasn't just a simple injury. It was foreign, dangerous, and clearly caused tremendous pain. Lena realized the thorn was the reason for all the roaring, all the flinching, all the fear. The dragon made another low, guttural sound. Lena flinched. Its breath was hot and shaky, but it didn't strike at her. She slowly reached out one hand. Her fingers hovered over the glowing scales around its mouth. Her hand shook slightly, but she spoke softly. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you, she said. Her voice was calm, steady, and gentle. I just want to help. The dragon's golden eyes flickered toward her, and for a long moment, it seemed to study her. It lowered its head slightly, just a little, as if testing whether she was telling the truth. Lena took a deep breath and moved even closer. She could feel the heat from its body, the vibrations from its chest, the sheer power coiled in its muscles. She had never been this close to anything so enormous, so alive, and yet, despite its size, she could sense its fear. She could sense that it was hurting more than it was dangerous. Her fingers brushed the edge of the thorn. It was sharp, and she winced at the thought of how deeply it had lodged. Lena swallowed hard. She could feel the dragon's heartbeat against the earth, slow and uneven. She whispered again, "I know it hurts. I know you're scared, but I can make it better. You can trust me." The dragon made a low rumble, almost like a sigh. Lena thought it was an agreement. It didn't flinch away. It didn't roar. It simply allowed her to stay close. She looked around and noticed the soldiers aiming their tranquilizers, but she ignored them. They didn't understand. They only saw a dangerous creature. She saw pain. She saw life, and she knew she could reach it where they could not. Lena steadied her hands. She gently touched the base of the thorn with her fingers. The dragon shivered at first, but it did not move away. Its eyes locked on hers, and in that silent connection, Lena felt something incredible: trust. The dragon trusted her enough to let her help it. "Almost there," she whispered to herself. "Just a little more." Slowly, carefully, Lena wrapped her fingers around the thorn. She felt its heat, its sharp edges, and the pulse of pain it carried. The dragon tensed, and its wings flickered nervously, but she kept speaking softly. "I know it hurts. I know it's scary, but I can make it better. Please let me help you." The dragon exhaled a shaky breath, and for the first time, it seemed to understand her. It stopped flinching. Its massive head lowered further, almost in surrender. Lena's small hands felt dwarfed against its enormous jaw, but she gripped the thorn firmly. She pulled, carefully and steadily. There was a brief moment of resistance, a sudden twitch, and then the thorn came free. Lena held it up, blinking in disbelief. The glowing tip reflected the sunlight, tiny but powerful. She looked at the dragon, her heart pounding. Its golden eyes softened. It let out a long, low rumble. Not a roar, not a cry of pain, but a sound that seemed almost like relief. The dragon lowered its massive body to the ground, collapsing gently onto its side. It was still enormous, still glowing, still breathing heavily, but it was no longer thrashing. It had surrendered its pain. It had trusted a 12-year-old human girl to make it better. Lena stayed close, her small hands shaking from fear and excitement. She whispered softly, "You're safe now. I promise. You're okay." The dragon lifted its eyes to her again. In them, she saw gratitude and something else, something she couldn't name. It was ancient, wise, and full of wonder. It was a connection she would never forget. Around them, the soldiers and scientists watched in stunned silence. They had come expecting a dangerous alien, a threat that needed to be subdued. Instead, they saw a 12-year-old human standing calmly beside a creature that could have crushed them all. Lena held the thorn carefully in her hand, looking at it as if it were a treasure. She had no idea where it came from or why it had hurt the dragon so badly. But she knew one thing: removing it had saved the creature's life. The dragon's breathing gradually evened out. Its wings twitched once or twice, then rested. It lowered its head, almost in a gesture of respect. Lena smiled softly, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. She had faced something enormous, something terrifying, and she had helped it. She looked up at the soldiers. "It's not dangerous anymore," she said firmly. "It was just hurt. You don't need to sedate it." They hesitated, unsure, but gradually lowered their weapons. Even the scientists, who had been preparing for emergency procedures, stepped back. They were witnessing something they would never forget: a human child saving a creature thought to be unstoppable. The dragon made another low rumble and shifted slightly closer to Lena. It let her touch its scales along the jaw, letting her check for other injuries. She found a few small scratches from a forest crash, but nothing that looked life-threatening. Carefully, she traced her fingers over the glowing scales, speaking softly. "Good. You're okay. You're really okay now." The dragon's eyes shimmered. Its glowing skin pulsed gently, like it was breathing a soft thank you into the world. Lena felt a thrill run through her. She had done it. She had calmed the creature. She had removed the thorn. And in that moment, Lena realized something amazing. Courage wasn't about size or strength. It was about heart. And even a 12-year-old human could change the life of a creature larger than the sky. The dragon lay still for a moment, recovering, then slowly raised its head and looked around. Its gaze lingered on Lena, and for a long time, the connection between them remained unspoken but powerful. The adults began to understand. The soldiers lowered their weapons completely. The scientists whispered to each other. Lena had done something impossible. They all realized that now. Lena smiled and whispered again, "You're safe now. I'll help you through this." And the alien dragon, once terrified and wounded, now rested, trusting a human child. The world had changed that day, not through weapons or orders, but through bravery, compassion, and a small human heart willing to step forward. Lena stood frozen for a moment, staring at the alien dragon lying on the ground. Its chest heaved with heavy breaths. Its glowing scales shimmered faintly in the sunlight, and its golden eyes followed her every move. It was enormous, far larger than any animal she had ever seen. Yet, despite its size, it was trembling from fear and pain. Most children would have run screaming at the sight, but Lena felt something stronger than fear, a need to help. Around her, soldiers and scientists hovered at a safe distance. Their weapons were aimed, their eyes cautious. They whispered to each other, pointing and shaking their heads. "Stay back, girl. It's dangerous," one shouted. Lena ignored them. Their fear was real, but they didn't understand what she already knew. The dragon was not trying to attack. It was suffering. Her small feet moved slowly, carefully, over the uneven ground. Branches and rocks crunched under her weight. But the dragon did not flinch. Its gaze followed her, wide and wary, yet there was a hint of curiosity in its glowing eyes. Lena spoke softly, almost to herself. "I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to help." The dragon let out a low rumble, shaking the air with its power. It thrashed slightly, wings twitching nervously, and Lena froze for a heartbeat. But then she noticed something crucial. The thorn was still lodged in its mouth. Every movement, every roar must be agony. Her resolve hardened. Step by step, Lena closed the distance. She moved slowly, keeping her hands raised to show she meant no harm. "It's okay," she whispered. "I can help you. I won't hurt you." Her voice was soft but firm. It carried through the air, and for a moment, the dragon stopped its struggling. Its massive head tilted slightly, as if considering her words. The soldiers shouted again, warning her to retreat. "Get back, girl. You'll be crushed." But Lena ignored them. Her heart pounded, her palms were sweaty, but she did not turn back. She had already made her decision. She would reach the dragon, no matter what. Lena climbed carefully onto a fallen log to gain a better angle toward the dragon's head. Its glowing scales reflected sunlight in 1,000 shimmering colors, and its enormous teeth glinted dangerously. Her stomach twisted with fear, but she clenched her fists and whispered, "You can trust me. I'll help you." The dragon's eyes narrowed for a moment, and Lena held her breath. Then, incredibly, it lowered its massive head slightly. It tilted its glowing jaw toward her, allowing her to see the thorn lodged deep between its teeth. Lena's eyes widened. It was thin, sharp, and alien, glowing faintly like a shard of fallen star. No wonder the creature had been thrashing in pain. Lena's small hands trembled, but she extended them carefully. "I'm going to take it out, okay?" she whispered. The dragon's chest rose and fell with effort, and its tail thumped the ground like a drumbeat. She could feel the power in its body, coiled and ready to strike if she made the wrong move. But she spoke calmly, in a soft voice full of courage. "You're safe. I won't hurt you. Please let me help." The dragon's massive eyes locked onto hers. For a long moment, nothing moved. The forest and the town faded away. The soldiers, the shouting, the flashing lights, they all disappeared from her mind. There was only her and the creature, connected in a silent understanding. Then the dragon made a low rumble. Its wings shivered once, twice, and then it stayed still. Lena's heart leapt. It was allowing her to approach closer. She crawled onto the log and leaned toward its glowing jaw. Her hands hovered over the thorn, trembling slightly, but her eyes never left the dragon's. "You're brave," she whispered. "You can do this with me. I'll help you." Slowly, she reached out and touched the base of the thorn. The dragon flinched slightly, but it did not thrash. Its breathing was heavy but steadying. Lena smiled, whispering encouragements. Almost there. I'm going to make it better. Trust me. Carefully, she wrapped her small fingers around the thorn. Its edges were sharp, and she could feel the heat from the dragon's mouth. She pulled gently at first, testing its reaction. The dragon flinched but stayed still. Lena pulled a little harder, her arms trembling. A low, frightened roar escaped from the dragon, shaking the ground beneath her feet. Lena froze for a moment. She whispered softly, "It's okay. I know it hurts, but I'm helping you. You'll be free soon." The dragon exhaled shakily, as if it understood. Its wings twitched nervously, but it allowed her to hold its jaw steady. Lena took a deep breath and pulled again. With a small, sudden slip, the thorn came free. She held it in her hands, blinking in disbelief at the tiny glowing object that had caused so much pain. The dragon lowered itself to the ground fully, its body trembling from exhaustion. It was no longer thrashing, no longer roaring. It was free from the thorn and slowly recovering. Lena's chest heaved as well, relief and excitement flooding her small body. "You did it," she whispered, her voice shaking. "You're free." The dragon's eyes met hers again, softer now, glowing with something that felt like gratitude. Its chest rose and fell more evenly, and its wings settled gently along its sides. For the first time since it arrived, it looked calm. Lena reached forward cautiously and ran her hand along its glowing scales. The dragon flinched slightly at first, then remained still, allowing her to touch it. Around them, the soldiers and scientists were silent. They had expected a terrifying battle, a dangerous alien to subdue. Instead, they saw a 12-year-old human girl face a creature large in the sky and help it without a weapon, without fear, just with courage and kindness. Lena held the thorn carefully, turning it over her hands. She didn't know what it was or why it glowed, but she knew it had caused unbearable pain to the dragon. Removing it had saved the creature's life. She smiled softly at it, whispering again, "You're okay now. I promise. You're safe." The dragon rumbled, a low, vibrating sound that echoed through the field. It was not a roar of anger, but a deep, quiet sound that spoke of relief and trust. Lena realized that the creature had recognized her bravery. It had allowed a human child to save it. Her small hand shook from fear and excitement, but she did not step back. She had walked toward the roars, toward danger, and she had made a difference. And in that moment, the alien dragon, once terrified and in pain, now rested and trusted a human girl. Lena smiled again, her heart full. Courage, she realized, was not about size or strength. It was about the willingness to step forward, even when fear was loud and danger was real. And sometimes, even a 12-year-old human could change the life of a creature larger than the sky. The dragon shifted slightly closer, allowing Lena to check its glowing scales for any other injuries. She found a few scratches from the forest crash, but nothing severe. Its breathing was slow and steady now. The fear had gone. It had calmed, and it had chosen to trust her. Lena looked around at the soldiers and scientists. "See," she said softly, "it's not dangerous. It was just hurt." Some of them lowered their weapons slowly, realizing she was right. Others whispered in disbelief. They had expected chaos, but instead, they had witnessed bravery and kindness in its purest form. The dragon rumbled again, a soft vibration through the ground, and Lena smiled, whispering one last time, "You're safe now. You can rest." And in that quiet moment, she knew that stepping toward the roars, not away from them, had made all the difference. The air was calm now. The dragon lay on the grass, its massive body rising and falling with slow, steady breaths. Its glowing scales shimmered faintly in the afternoon sun, casting strange reflections across the field. Lena sat on her heels nearby, her hands still trembling from the courage it had taken to remove the thorn. Around them, the soldiers and scientists had cautiously lowered their weapons. Even they could sense that the creature was no longer dangerous, only exhausted. Lena leaned closer, her eyes fixed on the dragon's golden ones. She whispered softly, "It's okay. You're safe. I won't hurt you." The dragon's head shifted slightly, and then, To Lena's amazement, a strange sound filled her mind. It was not a roar, not a growl. It was a voice, clear, calm, and almost musical. It spoke directly to her thoughts. "Human, small one, you have saved me." Lena's eyes widened. She looked around, confused. "Did you just speak?" she whispered aloud, but she knew no one could hear the words. "Yes," the dragon said in her mind. Its voice vibrated gently, like the echo of wind through tall trees. "I am called Valor. I come from a distant world, far beyond your sky." Lena felt a shiver of awe. The stories of dragons had never mentioned this, never told her that one could communicate with thoughts. She swallowed hard and whispered, "Valor, I'm Lena. I'm just a girl, but I wanted to help you." Valor's thoughts pulsed gently with warmth. "You are brave, Lena. Few humans would come close. Fewer still would help without fear." The soldiers and scientists watched, puzzled by her quiet murmuring. They didn't understand that a silent conversation was happening between the human child and the alien dragon. Lena's small hands rested lightly on Valor's scales. The dragon tilted its head toward her touch, the glow of its skin brightening slightly. I didn't know how to help," Lena admitted, still speaking aloud. "But I couldn't just leave you hurting." Valor's thoughts came gently, almost like a sigh. "You see more than others, Lena. You see life where others see danger. That is rare among your kind." Lena felt her chest tighten. "Why were you hurt? Why did that thorn?" Valor shifted its massive wings slightly, careful not to disturb Lena. "It was a trap, a weapon sent by enemies. They hunted me across the stars. The thorn is a toxin, meant to weaken and control me. If it had stayed longer, I could have died here, in this world you call Earth." Lena's eyes widened, but she held her ground. "Then I'm glad I found it. I couldn't let you suffer. Your courage saved me, Lena. Your heart is stronger than many warriors I have known. You stepped forward when all others stepped back." For the first time, Lena smiled, despite the lingering fear. "I didn't think of it as courage. I just wanted you to be okay." Valor rumbled softly, a vibration that Lena felt through the ground. "Humans are strange. You are fragile, yet brave. You are small, yet powerful in ways many do not understand." Lena's gaze wandered to the soldiers and scientists. "Do they know?" she whispered aloud. "Do they know you can talk to me?" Valor's voice was quiet in her mind. "Not yet. Most would not understand. They see with eyes, not with hearts. They hear only sound, not thought. You are different, Lena." A shadow passed over the sun as one of the soldiers raised a hand, pointing at the dragon nervously. It's alive. But what is it saying?" Lena looked at Valor's eyes, calm now, and whispered, "Not with words you can hear, but I can understand it." Valor shifted its head closer to Lena, the warmth of its breath brushing her face. "I have traveled far. I am a guardian of my people. My kind was attacked, hunted, and I fled to your world seeking refuge. But I did not expect to find compassion here." Lena swallowed hard. "You're all alone?" "Alone, yes, but no longer. Not after you." She reached out and lightly touched the top of Valor's snout. The scales felt smooth, almost like warm metal. She could feel a rhythm in the dragon's body, a heartbeat steady and full of life. "You saved me, Lena. Because of you, I can continue my journey. Because of you, I may return to my people and warn them of danger." Lena's small voice trembled as she asked, Do you want to stay here or go back to them?" "I am torn. My home calls me, but your world has shown me kindness I have never known. I am grateful to you for a moment." The field was quiet except for the dragon's slow breathing and the rustle of leaves. Lena realized that this alien creature, terrifying everyone else, was gentle with her. It trusted her, because she had seen it not as a monster, but as a being in pain. "Humans are fragile, yet remarkable," Valor said softly in her mind. "You have reminded me that courage comes in many forms. Even small hearts can change the fate of giants." Lena smiled again, feeling a warmth she had never felt before. "I'm just a girl," she whispered, "but I wanted to help. That's all." "And yet, that is enough," Valor replied. "Enough to save a life." enough to remind me that hope exists even across worlds. The soldiers and scientists remained in stunned silence. They could see Lena touching the dragon, watching it calm, and they began to lower their weapons. They could not see the conversation, could not hear the voice in Lena's mind, but they could sense something extraordinary happening. Lena stood carefully, brushing a strand of hair from her face. She looked at Vaylor's enormous eyes, and for the first time, she felt no fear. She felt respect, awe, and a strange sense of connection. The dragon, an alien guardian from far beyond the stars, had entrusted its life to her. You will remember this day, Lena. Vaylor's thoughts came softly. And one day we will meet again. Until then, carry courage in your heart. Lena nodded, not aloud, but in her heart. I will, she thought. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over the field. Vaylor's glowing scales reflected the warm light, and the alien dragon slowly rose its head. Its chest heaved, strong and steady, and it seemed to look around at the world as though seeing it with new eyes. Lena stepped back slightly, giving the dragon space. You are brave, Vaylor said one last time in her mind. Never forget your strength. It saved me. And in that quiet, extraordinary moment, Lena realized that she had not only helped a creature no one else could, she had also touched something ancient, wise, and powerful. The alien dragon's true voice had been revealed to her, and it had changed everything. The soldiers, the scientists, and even the townspeople could not fully understand what happened. But Lena did. She had spoken to a mind from another world. She had heard its gratitude, its story, its pain, and she had answered with courage. Vaylor rumbled softly, settling its massive body onto grass. Lena knelt beside it, still trembling but filled with pride. She had faced the unknown, and it had spoken to her. She had stepped toward danger and found a friend among the stars. And this is only the beginning. Vaylor's thoughts echoed in her mind. The worlds are larger than you know, Lena. And you, small human, have already shown that courage matters everywhere. Lena smiled. She could not wait to see what would happen next. The evening sky over Willow Creek was painted in shades of orange and purple, and the air was still. Lena stood beside Vaylor, the enormous alien dragon, feeling the warmth of its body and the soft vibrations of its steady breathing. The thorn had been removed, the pain was gone, and the dragon seemed calmer than anyone could have imagined. From a distance, a fleet of alien starships appeared, shining in the twilight. They descended slowly, hovering above the field with a silent majesty. The ships were sleek, with smooth, glowing surfaces and lights that pulsed like heartbeat rhythms. People on the ground gasped and stepped back, fearful of the unknown. The soldiers raised their weapons again, tense and alert, but Vaylor did not move to attack. Instead, the dragon lowered its massive head toward Lena and spoke softly in her mind. Do not be afraid. They are my people. They have come because of you. Lena's eyes widened. My people, she whispered aloud. No, human. They are my kin, my guardians, my friends. You have saved me, and now they have come to honor you. The starships hovered closer, and the ground shook slightly as massive engines created a gentle hum. From the largest ship, a hatch opened, and figures emerged. They were taller than humans, with shimmering armor and eyes that glowed faintly. Their presence was both intimidating and regal. The leader stepped forward. His armor was marked with strange symbols that pulsed faintly, and he looked toward Vaylor with respect. Elder Vaylor, he said telepathically, you have returned safely. Vaylor lowered its head in acknowledgement, thanks to the small human. The aliens turned their attention to Lena, and she felt her heart pound. She was just a 12-year-old girl, standing before a group of beings far more advanced and powerful than anything she had ever imagined. Yet they looked at her not with fear, but with awe. You have shown courage that is rare among all creatures, the leader said, speaking directly into her mind. You face fear without hesitation. You have saved a life that is precious to us. For this, we honor you. Lena swallowed hard, unsure how to respond. I just helped, she whispered. No, human. You did more than help. You showed that even the smallest and youngest among your kind can change the fate of beings far greater than themselves. Valor nudged her gently with its snout, a gesture of reassurance and gratitude. Lena reached up and touched its glowing scales, feeling the warmth and strength that pulsed beneath the surface. You and I are connected now, Valor thought. Because of you, hope will echo across the stars. The alien leader stepped closer. Human, because of your bravery, the Draken Court pledges protection to your world. Should danger come, our fleet will hear your call. Lena's eyes widened. Protection for Earth? Yes, Valor replied. Your courage has proven that humans can act with heart and wisdom. You have shown that strength is not always measured in weapons or size. The leader of the starships nodded slowly. We have observed your kind for centuries, but never has one shown such courage, such compassion. You, Lena, have reminded us that even the smallest being can have the greatest impact. Lena felt a strange warmth rise in her chest. She had only wanted to help a wounded dragon, yet here she was, recognized across galaxies for her courage. She looked at Valor, whose glowing eyes reflected pride and trust. The dragon rumbled softly, and Lena smiled. The aliens began to lift back into their ships, preparing to depart. The leader spoke one final message to Lena. Carry this courage always. You are young, but your heart is mighty. Know that you have friends among the stars. Valor lowered its massive head, nudging her gently. Do not forget this, Lena. The bond we share is rare. You have saved not just me, but the hope of my people. Lena knelt beside the dragon and whispered, I'll never forget. Thank you for trusting me. The starships lifted slowly, their engines humming softly. One by one, they rose into the twilight sky, glowing streaks against the fading sun. Lena watched them disappear into the distance, feeling awe and pride swirl within her. She had faced fear, reached out to help, and had changed the course of events for a life far greater than her own. Valor shook its massive wings, sending a gust of warm wind over Lena. The dragon rumbled softly, its voice a gentle vibration against the earth. Your courage echoes farther than you know. One small heart has shifted the balance of worlds. Lena smiled, brushing dirt from her knees. She realized that being brave did not always mean fighting battles with weapons. Sometimes it meant stepping forward when others ran, speaking gently when others shouted, and trusting that kindness could create change. The sun dipped below the horizon, leaving the sky dark but dotted with stars. Lena stood beside the dragon, feeling smaller than ever, yet stronger. Valor lowered itself to lie quietly on the ground, still glowing softly in the moonlight. Around them, the humans and soldiers had begun to relax, seeing that the creature meant no harm. The town would talk for weeks about the incredible sight, a girl who had calmed a dragon, who had walked fearlessly toward danger, and who had earned the respect of beings from beyond the stars. Lena looked up at the night sky, feeling the vastness of it all. Somewhere out there, Valor's people were traveling home, carrying stories of the human child who had changed everything. She felt pride swell in her chest. Courage, she realized, was a light that could shine across worlds, touching hearts that humans had never dreamed of reaching. Valor nudged her gently one last time. Rest now, Lena. You have done more than most ever could. Remember your strength, your heart, and your bravery. She smiled, placing a hand on its glowing snout. I will, she whispered. And as the first stars appeared in the darkening sky, Lena understood something she would never forget. Small humans could do mighty things. Simple acts of courage could echo across galaxies. A 12-year-old girl could change the fate of a dragon, earn the respect of alien civilizations, and remind the universe that bravery, kindness, and heart were as powerful as any starship or weapon. In that quiet night, human courage had truly echoed across the stars. And somewhere far beyond the horizon, Valor flew proudly, carrying with him the memory of a girl who had faced fear and walked toward the roars, teaching the universe a lesson it would not soon forget. Lena stood in the field, the wind in her hair, and for the first time, she felt the magnitude of what she had done. She had saved a life, earned the trust of a guardian of the stars, and shown that humans, small, fragile, and ordinary, could be extraordinary when courage guided their hearts. The night was calm again, but Lena knew that the echoes of her bravery would ripple far beyond Willow Creek, far beyond Earth, touching stars, dragons, and hearts across the universe. And for Lena, that was a triumph she would carry forever.